We're going to get ready to hit us on some trending by those who want to trend. Because I know Stanley, he just couldn't wait.
Yeah, I'm undefeated. Never lost.
You said you did see, there you go. Yeah. We getting ready to go and talk about the LaVar Ball situation. That's this week's trending. Now, for those of you guys who do not remember, one of LaVar Ball's youngest got caught up with the UCA.
That's his middle son.
That's the little. That's little.
That's the middle one.
Like,
the little one, the one that's homeschooled, that can't go to school.
Oh, the middle one.
That's the middle kid.
Okay, it's the middle one. You know, he like Little Rod. He just can't get right.
It's Trina Braxton, not Tamar. It's Trina.
Okay.
And not Tony.
Okay. So he goes up to China with his homies at UCLA. They up there doing whatever, and they decide they want to steal some shades. So, of course, everything was resolved. The guys are home on house arrest. And, of course, the president, because I was going to say our president, then I had to check the gag reflex in my throat, sits around and just says, hey, I got him released. And go. That's all I got to say.
Look here. Before we even get into all that, now, I'm a Big Baller Brand fan.
Mm-hmm.
But the issue I want to attack is tell your son, who is riding around in a freaking Ferrari, to keep his little stinking hands to himself. Put them in your pocket. You got on a UCLA jogging suit. Put your hands in your pocket. Out there, you lucky you wasn't in Saudi Arabia. Your jump shot would have been affected because you came back with that good nub.
Right.
So if you still in Saudi Arabia, you better still left-handed.
You're right. You better, like I said, you got 2 times to get some good stuff over there. It's over.
How are you a millionaire already? Because they're set for life. The Ball family has done a great job of marketing themselves to the point that they all should be comfortable.
Right.
But you in China stealing, not just one time. You done took your little kleptomaniac butt to 3 stores. And like China don't have technology to have you on tape.
Right.
And ain't too many Chinese folks 6'8" walking around. So you kind of obvious with your stupid self.
Right.
You walking around in China 6'8" stealing. And then Donald Trump, I don't know if Trump lied, got him out.
You don't know if he lied.
But where I come from, you shut up and say thank you and move on with your stealing self. You out here stealing in China, then you need to be worried about if he going to come back to America and steal something, because he already ain't playing. Now you got one kid play for the Lakers. He ain't playing either. He just on the team, 2 points a game. And morning.
He had a triple-double last night.
That was day 4 yesterday.
Oh, well, whatever it was.
He had 3 points. He had 3 points.
Y'all 2 want to box it out until the show?
My thing with him, well, that's different. We ain't on sports. But my thing with Lonzo is he got to cash checks to LaVar writing.
Right.
And so Lonzo getting everybody's best shot. And the NBA is grown man. He's what, 19, 20 years old? He's a kid. Mm-hmm. So now in 2-3 years he's gonna be a problem. Right. Now the boy in Philly already a problem, but he's 6'10". Mm-hmm. And Lonzo, I believe, is like 6'6"-ish. Mm-hmm. But he may weigh 155, 60 pounds. Like, he's not really heavy in the frame. And he's not stealing. He can't even steal the ball. So he's doing a good job. But I just think that, you know, especially when you black, you got to have more common sense than that. I almost cussed on Christian. Your black butt is over here in China, 6'8", stealing. Like, they ain't going to realize you over here stealing. You already stand out like a sore thumb as it is.
Well, you know, let me say this, and this goes to, you know, you talked about having, you know, your little Asian girlfriend from back in the day. You know, that people think that just because Asians are a minority, they're not racist against black people. They are. Very much.
One of the most racist countries in the world against black people.
Absolutely.
Right.
And part of that is because they don't want to admit that their history began with Africa. Yeah. The first samurai soldier was of African descent. A lot of people don't know that.
Well, see, let me go one further. Did you know scientists did a genetic trace back to the Asian people and found out that they came from Africa?
Exactly. Why
you go to South Africa and see so many black people with slanted eyes like Nelson Mandela? Because Asian people are a derivative of Africans when the continent split.
They all are derivatives of Africa.
Course, yeah. So. But before we go into our Black Jesus moment, look at because my son was stayed over in.
Well, I got slanted eyes, so I'm confused.
Well, you probably Indian and part Chihuahua, somewhere in that area.
But I don't have good hair, so I'm upset with my parents. Okay. Yeah. Well, never mind. We got to really get like one episode a year on Sirius. so I can say what I really want to say.
Yeah.
Well, back to stealing in China.
Yeah.
Get your butt somewhere and sit down.
So, hold on. Do you want to address whether or not Trump was telling the truth when he did it?
Trump ain't never told the truth. I ain't worried about what Trump said. Like, what I'm saying is, I mean, don't even. That's not even worth. Yeah. First of all, when two fools argue, you become foolish.
Right.
So both of them stupid. Let's just get down. Let's just, I love LaVar, but he's an uncle that you don't argue with.
Right.
He's a mad genius. You're not gonna win the argument.
Right.
And then you got Cheeto Justice up here in Washington. It's just, I have never in my life seen someone who needs to be applauded.
Yeah, thank you.
He
does it for the applause.
Isn't he like in his 70s?
Yeah. You think people grow out of it at that age? Because I see you grinning over there. So I kind of, want you to come in. I mean, why would you keep that in, bro? Why don't you just come on out and tell us how you do it?
I mean, I agree with Stanley as far as the ball kid is concerned because, dude, you don't need to steal. So what brain fart you had that day, I don't get it. The other thing is going to China or any foreign country, when people know you're an American, they watch you just because you're an American.
Right.
Couple that with the fact that you black.
Right.
Okay.
And you
so
6'8".
So I know China has this, they have this fascination with American basketball. Right. You've got quite a few, Stephon Marbury, as a matter of fact, has a museum dedicated to him in China. But they look at that as more like he's in a zoo as opposed to him being a human being. So when you look at it from that point of view, what you did, LaMelo Ball, was pure ignorance. But on the other hand, was it LiAngelo? Okay,
LiAngelo, that's the name.
So, LaMelo is the young one,
right? That's Tamar.
But at the end of the day, I'm loving this because Donald Trump done met his match.
Oh yeah.
Because after I heard he was doing a CNN interview, number one, here's the thing: I totally agree with you. If, in fact, Donald Trump did get them out, which I doubt.
No.
I doubt that. But the people that were that directly involved, which were those young men, they did thank him.
Correct.
Okay? His daddy don't have to thank him.
Right.
I'm sorry. Those young men thanked him.
They didn't want to thank him.
They didn't want to thank him either.
They didn't want to thank him.
But now, here's the thing, though. Most black folks,
right.
And again, it's black radio. We don't have that many unurban friends to listen, I don't think. But most black folks, if your butt stealing, whatever you get, you just
exactly.
Because
hey, the worst thing you can, I know growing up, I remember when I was about 6 years old, just standing at that little cash register with all those pretty candies up there. I reached up just to pick it up. I wasn't gonna steal it.
Right.
I was just touching it.
Look at it.
And your mama, wow.
And I got. Let's just say I got dealt with.
Well, here's my thing. I was raised and I grew up with my grandparents. My mother had issues, so thank God, Mama, if you listen, I love you too. But my grandmother would always tell us, if you go to jail, don't waste your one call calling me. Call your granddaddy.
Right.
Yeah. And so that goes for my 3 kids. If you get arrested for something like that, now if you self-defense or I got your back, I'll come to time for you. But if you stealing, whatever they do,
you there.
Good luck getting home, number one. Because I'm not going to even stay to go to your court date.
Yeah.
There were 2 things that my old folks in my house growing up. I couldn't stand a thief and a liar.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was raised the exact same way.
So
that's
in
why
that,
you don't like Trump.
But see, that's my point. Because when you start realizing that, because at the end of the day, a thief is nothing but a glorified liar.
Right.
Because they'll steal from you and say they didn't do it.
Right.
Okay. So when you start dealing with a liar like Donald Trump, and that's why I can't believe that he said anything to get those boys out. So from that point of view, I agree with LaVar Ball. And then here's the other thing that I think people are missing the point.
Right.
That's your job, Donald Trump.
Correct.
Americans abroad, they get in trouble. It's your job to make sure that they get home. So for you to come back and say you wish you would have left them in jail, then we need to question what you're talking about.
Well, but that's what that was is that you pushed his button and you got to hear what he really thought about.
Well, but see, we already know what he thinks. That's why LaVar Ball basically said, "Hey, I'm gonna give up what he thinks.
Right.
You know, because at the end of the day, LaVar Ball is straight up. You know what? Okay, he gangster. All right.
Period.
So
he's an ill Ray. And if you speak Pigland, figure the rest of it.
He's smart. Yeah. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Right.
I've talked about it a lot on my sports show. This guy, he has turned the NCAA on its ear. They don't know how to deal with him right now. Mm-hmm. And what he's done is set the groundwork for other parents. Mm-hmm. Because who is the NCAA to tell you that, we as NCAA can make money off your child, but you can't?
Right.
LaVar Ball said, no. Right. So I'm behind him 100%.
I actually bought a pair of shoes.
But that's my point. Right. Because here's a black man, before we criticize this brother, here's a black man who is understanding economics and has built a new company, has raised one millionaire.
Right.
Yeah.
I would tend to believe, instead of us criticizing this brother, although he's crazy,
yeah, he crazy.
We need to say, well, wait a minute, what? And here's the other thing: the guy Sonny Vaccaro, who started this whole shoe craze with Michael Jordan,
he's one of the leaders now, right?
Okay, right. But Sonny Vaccaro started with Nike, and this whole swoosh thing with Michael Jordan was his idea. Right. He even said, "Y'all better pay attention to what LaVar Ball is doing." This is the guy that started it all. Right. This was a white guy.
Well, he's making it to where you're a brand free agent. You can go to the NBA and wear whatever shoe you
exactly.
want to wear. Right. That's unheard of.
Right.
That's unheard of.
Right. So, and here's the other thing. In college, how is it your shoes are based on what your coach's shoe contract is?
Right.
Okay, so the coaches are making.
Come here, Rick Pitino.
I was getting ready to say, you took the words out of my mouth. Right. Rick Pitino was making $2 million just for a shoe contract.
Right.
Okay,
right.
So you're telling me that everybody around these kids can make money except the kids and their parents, and some of their parents are got 4 or 5 kids at home? That's why I said you need to pay attention to LaVar Ball, because this guy is. Because look what they did to the kid, the kicker at UCF. Here was a guy
making a YouTube video.
Right. Here was a guy, before he became a college athlete, he was making YouTube videos teaching people how to kick.
Right.
He was making bank.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When he got to college, the NCAA said, you can't do that anymore. Wait a minute. I was working this job before I got here.
Right.
So now you're saying that, I can't do it anymore? He ended up losing his scholarship. Mm-hmm. LaVar Ball has touched on something that the white bourgeoisie don't want you to do. That's why they're mad at LaVar Ball. Okay? But when you look at LaVar Ball on the outset, because I remember seeing that Stephen Smith interview, I said Stephen Smith had met his match.
Oh, you can't argue.
Did you see that?
I seen the only person who can kind of check him is Shannon Sharp.
Exactly.
Shannon Sharp can kind of check him because Shannon's so big.
Right.
But LaVar is a fool. My only issue with LaVar is I bought them shoes in July. And it's Christmas. I need my shoes, player. I need you to run them shoes to me.
I know, that's right.
$5.95. That was my whole little refund check from summer school.
Yeah. What you doing? You
know what? See,
I love me some LaVar. Have y'all hadn't seen the interview?
I missed it.
You need to. It's on. You need to go watch this interview.
Okay. But my thing with LaVar, what I love about LaVar is, you know he's finna say something stupid because he has a look on his face like,
just wait for.
Bring that camera here. Zoom in on me. I'm finna drop one on you. Donald Trump, kiss my beep and have a happy Thanksgiving from the ball. And let me know what size shirt it was. I can send you a big ball of bread.
Exactly. Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. He's a master marketer. Yeah, and if you don't realize, and the reason I see it because I've been in radio. That radio is nothing but marketing.
Correct.
That whole say, look, that thing that he did on CNN, and he wasn't on for a 6-minute segment.
No.
He was on for almost 20 minutes, dude.
Feature.
That's what I'm saying.
Everything at the bottom of the screen said, coming next, LaVar.
Right. And you cannot pay for that kind of advertising. You see what I'm saying? So now, even if you don't like LaVar Ball, if you hear he gonna come on somewhere, you gonna watch him.
Because you gotta talk about it at work to see what
exactly. Because everybody's saying, man, you see that fool last night.
Well, here's the funny part though, because I work with a lot of non-urban people, and so I travel for work. So I'm in this restaurant, and it's me and 3 non-urban women, and they ask me, so what are your thoughts on Colin Kaepernick being the Citizen of the Year and not J.J. Watt? I said, well, if it wasn't for the flood, J.J. Watt wasn't enough for black folks in Houston.
No, I know that.
Boom.
Baby.
Thank you.
They wouldn't pay for my my food.
And by the way, J.J. Watt didn't raise $37 million.
No, he didn't.
There were a whole lot of other. He was the face,
and everybody else.
Right. So let's get over that, white people. You hating because you're white. By the way, did y'all read the article where 14 states are showing that white people are dying faster than they're giving birth?
That's because they so busy hating on black.
Exactly.
Thank you.
I gotta stop saying this stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
When I say something out line.
Hey.
My grandma.
Well, don't worry about it. We say it on Black Focus every day. Every day. We pull no punches.
Lord, my thing with white people, since we just gonna keep it. God, this is Thanksgiving, y'all. So I'm sorry. I hope you got your turkey and dressing already in the oven.
Yeah, celebrate the white genocide holiday.
Some of these white.
See, that's what I'm
some of these white folk, but they got to realize though that like black folk, we got.
Was it Thanksgiving for the Indians? Huh?
We got brains though. Like I don't get it. I work because I work with nothing but that population, and they are just amazed at the things that I say.
I know.
Like, oh my God, you're so smart.
Yeah.
See, that's racist in itself.
I almost said the cuss word on the radio. Just
exactly.
Think about it. Like, how you gonna tell me I'm smart?
Exactly.
He's very well spoken. Exactly. What do you expect him to say?
Stink a booty tail, little girl. I know I'm smart. I'm your boss. I just happen to be stupid on the radio, but I got a real job.
Thank you.
Yeah. I sell a trunk of my car. I'm competing. So after you visit her website, if you want to save a couple of dollars, holler at your boy.
Right. That's
I'll meet you in the back parking lot over here by Walgreens on Main Street here in Little Rock. I got this fresh black top with a little crop in the front so you can show your stuff. You might get you some oxtail dressing. Happy Thanksgiving, Mama. I love you. P.O.P. baby. Hold it down.
This is what happens when I let this fool come on the air. So first, if you quiet over there, what's the matter? You checking on your?
Hey,
you checking on your tricks out there on the corner?
No. I'm just letting y'all have it.
Because I see you texting them like, you better have my money after the show. What's going on with that?
I'm just letting y'all have it.
Oh, okay.
I'm just letting the brothers have it.
I always tell you talk too much. You don't know. All right. Okay, so let's talk about something else because we were talking about somebody putting heat out there. Did you see what happened to Jeff Sessions as he went in front of the Senate? Ooh, did he get grilled, roasted, and barbecued every kind of way?
The only thing I'm thankful for with the Trump election is that the next presidential race is going to be so fun to watch. As America will truly become great again because they are dropping like flies.
Yes, and what people don't understand, let me give you guys
us some background because everybody don't watch CNN.
Yeah, well. Jeff Sessions went up. And
who is Jeff Sessions?
Jeff Sessions is this little troll.
No. What does he do for real? Don't. You got people who support him. I
wish they would. You get off my show. Jeff Sessions is the Attorney General. He's a Bama from Bama. And he's the Attorney General
for. I'm gonna translate what you said for our white audience. So go ahead.
For the white audience.
He's the Attorney General for the United States of America.
There you go. And he's a Bama from Bama.
He's from Alabama, and he has nothing to do with black people.
Okay. And he has had a very colorful history dealing with black folk.
He do stuff that you can't do with your mom in them house.
There you go. So Donald Trump picked him as the AG.
Candyman loves Steven.
There you go. And now he's up here. He had to recuse himself from the Russia investigation.
He had to step down because white folks was getting ready to get caught.
Yep. And so what happened is now he's on the hot seat in front of the Senate for some of the decisions that have been made.
Somebody got to take the bullet for Trump.
There you go. So
we should do this. This is good. We should do this more. I should translate all
the time. Thank you. You can translate that.
I'm your African American translator for the white community.
Yes. All of us who would.
White power! That's just for my few friends that listen out there.
They'll tell you how quickly they're your friends when you get arrested or pulled over by the cops.
I'll lose your job.
I don't know.
There you go.
Yeah. Django. They'll keep your little kid for you though because he's cute.
Right. I don't know how that goat got in his trunk. I've been victim of that.
Keep talking about Jeff Sessions so I can translate some more because we
So he's up in the Senate and he's getting grilled by two. Actually, I saw two interviews they did with two African Americans. One from New York, Mr. Jeffries, who asked him about his involvement with Russia, and what they asked him was, and basically this was the question that stopped him was, oh, you remember how you went and prosecuted a police officer when you was Attorney General? And you sat around and said, normally when a guy changes his story, that means he lied.
So in other words, he got caught up with his own words.
There you go. So the senator is sitting around here talking. So Jeff Sessions tried to question him, and he says, "Oh no, Mr. Sessions, you don't get the question the Senate. We asked you the questions."
Phone check, homie.
Oh, Ouch. So as they're doing this, he sits and said, you remember you did that. He said, normally when a person changes their story, that's indication of guilt. He said, so how come now when you said this on this day, that on the other day, and now you're sitting around here in front of us telling us you don't recall, how is that not changing your story?
Big Mama can't stand thieves and liars. You heard Uncle Dave earlier.
There you go. So at the end of the day, he got himself lit, and this was from...
I'm sorry. So my white listeners, lit means he got caught up and it was pretty ugly for him.
Yes, it was. And what it was, this was Senator Jeffries from New York. Hakeem Jeffries, gone power to the people, my brother from back home.
Hakeem is probably going to resemble a young man on Empire.
There you go. So now we have another sister. And
What's Empire?
Empire is a black television show that white people should not watch on Wednesday nights because it will really make you scared when you hear rap music.
See that? Yeah, it will.
Free Lucius.
Is he still in jail?
No, he lost his
He just lost his memory.
He ain't got no leg.
Oh, yes.
He ain't got no what?
He ain't got no legs, so he can't kick it no more.
They took his leg off?
He got no legs to kick.
They took his leg or leg? Did he lose both or one?
He lost one.
One leg?
He can only kick it sometimes.
Okay.
So first, why don't you just go in there?
You know Terrence Howard can't hold it together being a W.
Go, Ma. I see you, Fred. I love it.
There you go. There you go.
So there's another sister, and I can't remember her name. I saw her interview this morning before we got to the show.
And she has real hair.
Yeah, she does.
Oh.
And she's questioning Jeffries. I'm sorry, Sessions. I'm sorry.
Sessions.
I take that back. That's
So Broomhilda's now questioning the Candyman.
Yes. So he gets in there, and she's like, oh, did you see this report that you put out about the FBI is now targeting black identity groups as now terrorist cells?
Now she's getting ready to go into the hot box.
Yeah, she is. So now she's sitting around here and she said, well, let me ask you a question. She said, do you also identify groups as the neo-Nazi movement and the KKK as white identity groups?
Shout out to Papa John's Pizza.
There you go.
So she said, I looked at this report and noticed that these were black identity groups that were identified by the FBI 3 to 4 decades ago.
That's going to be 30 to 40 years for some of you who didn't have math classes.
There you go. So she said, well, let me ask you a question, Attorney General Sessions. She said, let me ask you this, Sah. She said, are you going to sit around here and encourage this report on a group that is 40 years old, like the Black Panthers? And she said, more importantly, do you consider Black Lives Matters as a terrorist group?
Here come the part where Kaepernick took a knee, white people.
There you go. And she sat around here, and when I say she stomped him, sat him right there, and he was like, well, I don't remember, but I got to look at the report.
And Uncle Dave told you about thieves and liars earlier today.
Yes, he did. So, again, when we talk about this stuff, you're looking at how does he become an attorney? Because attorneys normally are not this dim. You know, attorneys usually have always a good.
Well, he's from Alabama.
Thank you. He's from Alabama.
And think about it.
Who did he sleep with?
All I got to do is say Roy Moore.
Oh, Lord.
Okay. You think they're buddies?
Alabama, though, Alabama is kind of where black people started to get enslaved once they got to America.
Right.
Alabama, unless you play football for Nick Saban, black folks ain't relevant in Alabama.
Right.
Well, here's the problem with that Alabama thing altogether. How bad is Gaston, Alabama? Think about this. How bad is Gaston, Alabama?
Gaston.
That's where all of this stuff with Roy Moore took place. So think about it from this perspective. All right. He was banned from the mall. You had employees that worked at the mall.
Hold on. Now, I ain't familiar with Gaston, Alabama, but the mall can't be that big.
That's my point. That's my point.
Okay.
He got banned from the mall.
Talking about
mall.
Employees at the mall knew he was banned because a police officer came up and told the employees that if you see him, call me, I'll take care of it. So the police knew.
So for you black people, that means that the white boy can't go to Park Plaza no more.
Okay.
Right.
So the police knew. So check this out. So an assistant DA who worked in the same office that he worked in, who was sworn to uphold the law,
right?
She knew,
right?
Okay. So Roy Moore, think about this. So apparently the teachers knew, because when he called the school and asked for the little girl came down and said they were looking at her like she had done something wrong because they knew that was Roy Moore on the phone.
Right.
So all of these people knew. Now let me forget. Remember, Roy Moore said that I didn't date any of those little girls unless I talked to the mamas.
And Uncle Dave told you about
Date.
Okay, so
date. And hold on. Define the word date.
Right.
As given by a pedophile.
Little girls and date don't go in the same space.
Exactly.
Hey, that's what I'm
Hold on,
saying.
without the mama's permission,
Right.
the child not old enough.
Y'all getting to where I'm headed.
Yeah.
Right.
To
Okay,
consent.
hang on. The bus gonna stop in a moment.
Come on.
All right.
Only 2
So
seats left.
that means that the mamas knew. So based on what I just said, literally that entire town knew that Roy Moore was a pedophile, and for 40 years, no one in the entire town, not the teachers, not the police, not the ministers. You even had a minister come up yesterday and say he'd vote for Jesus. If Jesus told him to vote for Roy Moore, if Jesus told him to vote for a Democrat, he'd vote for Roy Moore. So even pastors knew. So how is it that entire town? Do y'all understand what I'm saying here? Let's forget about Roy Moore.
Let's not use the word pastors. Let's use the word preacher.
Well, preachers, whatever. But let's forget about Roy Moore. How is it that the whole damn town knew this man was a pedophile and did nothing?
Population about 17,000.
Does that not bother y'all?
And the thing about it is that
inbreeding,
the whole town was okay with feeding children to this monster.
Right.
And unfortunately, don't get me wrong. We know across all races, creeds, and nationalities, there's always been a history of child abuse, pedophilia, things of that nature. But I'm sorry, and call me making a racist statement. I really don't care because I'm fixing to make it. I'm fixing to make it.
It's Thanksgiving.
I don't care.
It's Thanksgiving.
I don't care. I don't care if it's Christmas. There's always a day to speak out against pedophiles.
Some pumpkin pie and some stuffing.
But the thing about it is that a certain racial group, we'll call them Caucasians,
Right.
have extreme amounts and numbers, percentages of pedophiles. They have since the beginning of time. 9 times out of 10, when you see a picture of a convicted pedophile, he is of the same racial identity. I don't know what is the deal with these pedophiles being obsessed with their small children, but overall, the statistics are staggering.
Well, I can tell you why that is though, because in my family, you touch a kid, we gonna handle that. You ain't got to worry about going to court.
Yeah, you won't be there when the police get there. They're gonna be like, we were standing out barbecuing and a bullet just came flying and
we're not even gonna go that far. They're just gonna be he disappeared.
Those grill marks on his face, he stumbled.
My heavy duty foil wrapped him up.
And as a parent, I'm sure many of us know people whose children have been abused, or I know a lot of people who have been through things of that nature. How on the earth do you wait for the police? Oh my Jesus!
But again,
I don't know how you wait for the police.
But again,
if somebody put their hands on a child of mine.
But that's parental outrage. But see, that goes back to what I just said.
The police gonna be looking for me.
Is that the entire town knew this man was a pedophile, and it seems like somebody's daddy would have stood up and said, "Hey."
Well, but you got to also know a pedophile know who to touch too now.
Right.
Well, that's true. But I would agree with that if in fact there wasn't so much evidence of other people, police, teachers, principals. You see what I'm saying? So they knew.
Basically, what they were doing, they were trying to contain it by letting law enforcement know about it. They had no intention of stopping him. He should have been in jail. He should have never been a judge. He should have never even passed the bar.
But again, that's another one. He was a judge. He had to be elected judge. So these people knew this man was a pedophile, but they were still electing him. Look, the governor came out the other day and still is going to vote for.
A female.
Right, she's still going to vote for Roy Moore.
And see, look,
there's something wrong with that town, man.
Let me break something down for you, because see, this is why elections matter. And look, we know the election is over a year now. This is what Hillary Clinton meant when she talked about deplorable, because this whole Roy Moore thing has cast a whole different light now onto the state of Alabama. So now Alabama has made this country look like the laughingstock of the planet again.
Well, I think
Donald Trump made it.
Well, of course,
Donald Trump does that every day.
Well, I mean, when your president's an orangutan, I mean, what you gonna do? Yeah. So I'm just saying. But now
apes strong.
Yep.
I've heard that in a movie somewhere.
We just Planet of the Apes.
Hey, before we move on though, can we talk about what's my man at CBS?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
That's what I've been waiting on.
You white folk need to quit touching folk and try to put your little wang and everything.
Okay, yeah. CBS News and fired Charlie Rose.
It just ain't him. You heard about John Conyers this morning, right? Same thing.
Oh, everybody's kidding. They're going to tell about. I guess I'm going to be next for the ghost because I've been touching them inappropriately for decades.
Whatever happened to just riding around and pulling up on a corner and buying you some entertainment?
Tell them, Subversive, since you got something out there on the corner.
It's power and white privilege. That's what it really boils down to. Right. Power and white privilege.
And I'm sure, I know we're almost out of time, but maybe we can touch on this next week.
We got some minutes.
The Trump administration is expelling the Haitian earthquake refugees.
From the Native American?
I'm pulling it up now. They're sending them back. There was a protected status for Haiti following that catastrophic earthquake. And so the temporary protected status designation for Haiti, that it will end on July 2019. It will potentially force tens of thousands of Haitian immigrants to either leave the U.S. or live in the shadows. They have nothing to go back to. They didn't have anything in the first place, but they have nothing to go back to. So they have to either leave the U.S. and go to a country that will accept Haitians, which very few countries do. They don't accept Haitians, and they.
You know why, don't you?
Because of their high HIV rate.
No.
Why? I know that. Well, that's one of. Excuse me. That's one of the reasons that their HIV rate.
No, Z444.
No, it's historical. Haiti was the first country to liberate itself in the Western Hemisphere from slavery.
Yep.
And from that, the reason Haiti is in its condition today is because of that. Right. They had a pact that they would not do anything to support Haiti from, I think their liberation was 1792.
Right.
That's why Haiti is the way it is today.
The poorest country in the Western Hemisphere.
It has nothing to do with HIV rates. And by the way, the rates are so high, some would argue, because of the World Health Organization. I'm just saying.
Now stay woke.
So I'm just saying.
But their unusually high HIV rate is recognized by the World Health Organization.
You ain't got nothing to do over there but that.
Well, but when a country has that high a rate of HIV infection, other countries have a tendency to not want them to come and mingle in with the population.
And we still go to Atlanta.
Well, you know what I would say.
Don't go to Atlanta.
I'm just saying
see San Francisco.
Thank you.
But it's an epidemic in that country, and I do have friends, and I have one friend in particular. His parents came over from Haiti. Everyone, his whole family's Haitian, and the HIV rate is astounding. It's astounding.
Well, folks, happy Thanksgiving. Hope you get some oxtail dressing. And if you got a goat, bring them over Django's
Thank
house.
You,
ready to put some on the grill, baby.
Yeah, baby.
It's been a pleasure speaking with you all the way live and in person from Dallas, Texas. I'm in the building. Meet me tonight at the West End because I won't be there. I'll be at Prost.
There you go. Right. I might catch it. Oh, by the way, look, for those of you guys tonight that want to see Justice League on Tuesday discount night, we will be out there. Django, 3 lucky people will be getting gifts from yours truly. So show up out there about 7:45. Let me go. I might have to say 7:30 for black folks because black folks, we always late. And there will be gifts given out for those who show up. So we're going to be doing the Last Jedi is going to be the next show for Devil's Advocate, and then of course Black Panther next year. We're going to be setting it up. So I want to thank you guys for joining us on this Tuesday. When our Friday, we hopefully will re-air the show. I want to thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for supporting us in the room. Hey, just keep it real with us. We'll keep it real with you. And of course, I want to thank my main man Stanley. I want to thank Subversive and her pimps and tricks. And I want to thank, of course, Super Dave and my man JC. And again, if you can't stand the heat,
don't go to Haiti.
There you go.
All right.
See, boy, get off my face. Bye, y'all.